It's the late 1980s, a transformative era in Japanese animation. Anime was on the rise, but it hadn't yet cemented itself as the powerhouse that we know today. Shows like Fist of the North and Saint Seiya were the golden standard of the day. They were action-packed, dramatic, and beloved by fans all across Japan. But then came a manga artist with a vision bolder than anyone thought possible. He wanted to not just entertain, he wanted to redefine what shonen could be. His goal? To create a universe of heroes, power, and imagination, so bold that it would reshape the landscape of anime forever. In order to find out how this new series became a global phenomenon, we need to rewind back to 1984. Akira Toriyama, already a rising star thanks to the success of Dr. Slump, set out to create a new kind of adventure comic, something inspired by classic Chinese literature, martial arts films, and his own comedic sensibilities. That story was Dragon Ball. What began as a light-hearted quest narrative soon evolved into something far greater. Toriyama pushed the limits of action storytelling, designing fights that flow like choreography, characters that evolved in real time, and worlds that blended myth, sci-fi, and pure imagination. By 1989, the anime adaptation reached a pivotal turning point. The series matured and stakes were skyrocketed. Dragon Ball Z was born, a shift that would redefine animation for generations. From this moment, the landscape of shonen storytelling changed forever. Between 1989 and 1996, DBZ pushed every boundary. Animation, power scaling, serialized storytelling, and long-form character arcs. This was a golden era that created legends like Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Trunks, Frieza, Cell, and Majin Buu. These weren't just characters, they were icons that defined childhoods across the world. And in 1996, the story left Japan, landing in the West with an impact no one expected. Suddenly, kids everywhere were watching anime without even knowing what anime was. Dragon Ball Z wasn't just entertainment, it was an introduction to an entire medium for millions. The result? A historic shift. DBZ became the gateway anime, the one that opened the floodgates. But that's not where the story ends. DBZ became the new anime standard across the world. Its influence reshaped the entire industry. Power systems with clear progressions, rivalries rooted in philosophy and personal growth, transformations that carried emotional weight, battles that felt mythic in scale, heroism tied to sacrifice, identity, and legacy. Anime would never be the same again. Every shonen that came after, Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, My Hero Academia, and countless others, is built on foundations that DBZ laid. At its core, DBZ wasn't just a power spectacle, it was also strong storytelling. Toriyama understands something crucial. Power means nothing without heart. The show explored ideas that resonated with kids and adults alike. Identity, destiny, fatherhood, sacrifice, and many more. These themes made DBZ more than action. They made it relatable, emotional, and human. And the character arcs became legendary. Vegeta's journey from villain to anti-hero, Gohan's struggle with his own untapped power, future Trunks' desperate mission to save a world already lost. These arcs created a blueprint that every major shonen writer, from Kishimoto to Oda to Horikoshi, would study and build upon. Many manga creators have openly said that Dragon Ball Z was the reason they picked up a pen in the first place. The show didn't just inspire fans, it inspired the next generation of creators. And then came a phenomenon no one predicted. Dragon Ball Z became a merchandising juggernaut. From action figures, card games, clothing, and even gaming, DBZ dominated shelves around the world. For many Western audiences, DBZ was the first time anime merch appeared in mainstream stores. Video games like Budokai and Budokai Tenkaichi brought fans even deeper into the universe, further cementing its cultural legacy. To this day, DBZ remains one of the most merchandised anime franchises in history. But more importantly, became a shared language. Everyone remembers the first Super Saiyan moment. Everyone remembers yelling in the backyard pretending to power up. Everyone remembers getting up early in the morning or rushing home after school to catch the next episode. Dragon Ball Z became more than a show, it became a global myth. Dragon Ball Z influenced action, storytelling, characters on a global scale. It inspired creators, it launched careers, it forged lifelong fans, and established the blueprint for the modern shonen genre. The echoes of DBZ can be felt in every major series that followed. From power systems to rivalries to emotional character arcs, every shonen anime still operates in the shadow of what Dragon Ball Z built. But behind the transformations, battles, and iconic moments was one man, the creator whose imagination changed the world. A storyteller whose impact didn't end with the final episode or final chapter. In order to understand the power of transformation that Dragon Ball Z had, we have to look at its creator. And that brings us to Akira Toriyama. Clean art style, explosive action, expressive characters, and a blend of comedy and drama created a language of visual storytelling that future creators would study for decades. For many of today's biggest manga artists, this journey began the moment they saw Goku step onto the screen. Eiichiro Oda, the creator of One Piece, said that Toriyama was the reason he wanted to make manga. Masashi Kishimoto said that Naruto exists because of Dragon Ball. Countless others, from Bleach to Fairy Tail to My Hero Academia and beyond, credit Toriyama as the spark that ignited their creative fire. His influence didn't just shape a genre, it shaped the artists who would go on to define anime for the next 30 years. But in March 2024, the world received news it didn't want to hear. Akira Toriyama had passed away. A quiet shockwave reverberated through the anime community. Fans gathered online to share their memories, artists posted tributes, and everyone in the world talked about how he influenced them in some way or another. Didn't matter who you were, a veteran animator, a new artist, or a kid who grew up yelling Kamehameha in the backyard. Everyone felt that loss. Toriyama's passing wasn't just the end of a life, it was a moment the world stopped to acknowledge how much one man had given us. A story that inspired millions, a universe that defined our childhoods, a legacy that transformed anime forever. May no longer be with us, but his work, his characters, his worlds, his imagination continues to echo across generations. And every time a new artist picks up a pencil, every time a kid dreams of becoming a hero, every time an anime fan gathers to cheer on their favourite characters, Toriyama's legacy lives on. Because at the end of the day, Dragon Ball Z wasn't just an anime, it was hope, it was adventure, it was possibility. And it all started with a creator who dared to dream. He created the gold standard of anime. Then came a small Danish company with an idea that quietly challenged everything toys were supposed to be.